we have another circle, but look where the center is.
Not in the center.
It's not at 0, 0. It's at positive 2,
3, 4.
positive 3. Now be careful, it's not 3, 4 because you don't count the lines starting here. That's 0, remember? So you go 0, 1, 2. And then 1, 2, 3. So that point is over 2, up 3, right? So the center of this circle is at 2, 3. What's the radius of our circle here? No. The radius itself. Okay, let's ignore this. Just look at the circle with me for a minute. What's the radius? The radius is 4 because I go from the center and I count outward. So from the center, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Notice how the radius is 4?
Oh.
Radius is 4. Okay, so we learned a formula just barely that says that x squared plus y squared equals r squared. So that means we would plug in the 4 for the r, and what's 4 squared? 16. So those of you that were looking in this little box right there and noticed the 16, the 16 is not the radius. The 16 is the radius squared. So it's the 4 squared. Okay? All right. Now we have this new formula that's very similar to the one we just learned. What's different about it?
More letters.
What letters?
H, Y, no, H and K.
Okay, we still have x, which is a variable.
Yeah.
We still have y, that's a variable. And we still have r, which is a fixed distance in every circle. We just have to know what it is and plug it in. Now we have two other numbers called h and k. H and k are the points where the center is located. Okay? So they are also going to be fixed points for a certain circle. They are not going to vary once we know what they are for one's particular circle. Okay? So the circle we were just barely looking at, the center is at 2, 3. 2 is represented by h in our formula, and 3 is represented by k in our formula. So if we wanted to write an equation for this circle using this formula, what would we do? Yeah, we would plug in h, we would plug in k, we would plug in r, and then we would simplify the r squared. Okay? So we have x minus the first value of the center, which is a positive 2. So what happens if we go x minus a positive 2? It's x minus 2, correct? So look, here's where it's written right here, x minus 2. And then we have y minus k. So the other value for the center is a positive 3. So if we go y minus a positive 3, we have y minus 3. We're not going to do anything with that part and that part. But then the last part where we plug in the 4, we plug in 4 squared. We don't want to just leave it as 4 squared. We'd want to multiply that out. So 4 times 4 is what number? 16. Good job. So here is the equation for this circle. Here's the one thing that becomes really confusing for students. For some reason, they look at the negative 2 and they think, oh, the center should be negative 2. Or they look at the negative 3 and they think the center should be negative 3. It should be negative 2, negative 3. Why is it positive 2, positive 3? Because those numbers are not really the center. Guess what the center actually is?
0, 0.
No, not in this triangle. Not in this circle. The center is the number that makes that parenthesis 0. So let's think about just that part of the problem. What number can I plug in for x that would make that thing 0? Danny? Positive 2, right? Okay, what thing can I plug in for y that makes that 0? Positive 3. So that's where the center is. The center is the numbers that would make those 0. No, because sometimes the center actually is negative. Yeah, exactly. It's always the opposite. That's what the negative does, is it makes it opposite. So if these are negative in here, then your center is at positive numbers. But if they're positive numbers, like let's look at example number 3. See how the numbers are positive? So where's the center going to be? At negative numbers. Okay. Well, here's what I want you to do right now. If I was Mr. Ash, he would make you get whiteboards to do this, but I I don't like handing the stuff out. So I'm just going to have you do it on your own paper, okay? So what you're doing is these 4 problems. You're working through these 4 problems. It's not your homework, it's just your notes. We're just practicing. So everybody needs to do these 4 problems right now, and I'm coming around to make sure you're doing them. If you're not doing these 4 problems, you're going to be in trouble. Okay? So work on these 4 problems right now. Go.